While talking about sustainability, it's a big question those who track cryptocurrencies are asking themselves. Now, imagine an asset class which has grown about 140 to 150% in the year 2020. That's right, in the year of the pandemic. Cryptocurrencies are back in fashion, so are bitcoins, which have seen a surge of about 37% in value in just the last 1 month. So what's going on with cryptocurrencies? Are investors back? Is it really safe to go back and invest in this, or is it still one of those whimsical sort of options on the horizon? To understand a little more about the Bitcoin phenomena, I'm joined now by Sathvik Vishwanath. He's the co-founder and CEO of Unocoin. And I'm also speaking with Sumit Gupta, who's the co-founder and CEO of CoinDCX. Welcome to both of you, and thank you for talking with us today. Sathvik, exciting times for Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. Are you seeing this with a bit of trepidation? Because we know about the bubble bursting in 2017, and of course it was good news earlier this year in March 2020 for cryptocurrencies. But has some of the confidence started coming back among investors?
Yeah, I mean, see, at the end, it is not really like the bubble bursting. I think when there is such a acceleration in the way the price of the Bitcoin is growing, it will definitely be at some point of time there will be a correction. And like you said, we have seen about 37 to 40% of increase within the last 30 days alone. So then there's a need for a correction so that it will eventually achieve to some kind of stable pricing, which has more meaningful, I think. So that's what we pretty much are seeing today as well. So from yesterday to today, we have seen a dip of about 10% in the price of Bitcoin, but I would see that as a very healthy correction so far.
Yeah, I was just looking at the latest prices. It's now about 12.6 lakhs for a Bitcoin. The mind boggles at this investment trend. Sumit Gupta, tell me what's happening with Indian investors. Are they coming back? Because there was relief for cryptocurrencies in India after the Supreme Court overturned an RBI decision earlier this year in March to stop banks from having anything to do with these transactions. So that has gone, that has sort of allowed them to flourish and continue. But is there still a haze of regulatory uncertainty which is holding back investors, or are investors actually coming back in the Indian context?
Sure. So from what we have seen in post-March Supreme Court judgment is that a lot of these Indian retail investors have, are more comfortable, and the Supreme Court judgment has given a layer of credibility, a legitimacy to the overall digital asset space. And what we have seen, as you correctly mentioned, crypto assets have performed significantly well in 2020, including Bitcoin, which has performed 140% year to date. And yes, definitely there has been a very large interest from Indian retail investors, so much so that post the Supreme Court judgment, we have seen a 10x spike in terms of user registrations, and the volumes also went up drastically. So definitely we saw a great interest among Indian youth, and they are also very actively investing. And that's apart from that, there has been a lot of institutional interest as well. Big funds like MicroStrategy, Grayscale, they have Bitcoins now in their company treasuries, and there has been a lot of data points which says that a lot of institutional investors have put in billions of dollars, which is also one of the factors behind this price rise that we have seen in the last 30 days and the last few months alone.
Sumit, how many investors would you say are out there? What is the size of investors in Bitcoins is what I'm trying to get, because I've been looking for that information and there's no specific sort of range there. There are a lot of wild figures. So in your assessment, how many investors are there right now in the Indian market?
Sure. So from what our estimates are, typically it's around 5 million investors who have exposure to crypto as an asset class. So they have either invested or they are doing something or the other, either development or have exposure to crypto. So that's the ballpark figure we have. And what we estimate is that that number is rising gradually. A lot of these investors came in year 2017 in the last bull run, and we are noticing a similar trend in the last couple of months when the prices are increasing. We are seeing a lot of new people joining the crypto ecosystem. A lot of people are now having a small fraction of their portfolio into this new asset class.
Sathvik, you have that same sort of figure, 5 million investors?
Yeah, I was thinking more in terms of 4 million, which is like 40 lakhs. But yeah, I mean, we don't have the exact official number. And what the number that we're saying is only about India. So globally, we are talking about maybe 20 times more than that. It could be as much as 100 million is what it looks like. And given there is there's a company called PayPal, so which recently started providing the Bitcoin transactions like buying and selling through their platform. And given that alone had more than a few million of users, now the access to which this particular cryptocurrency industry is reaching is definitely far beyond that. So the more easy it is for the investors or the users to get in and get out, we would obviously see much more people getting into the space.
So Sathvik, tell me where this is going, because I remember covering the 2017 boom in quite a bit of detail, and a lot of people were excited. It became a very common thing to discuss among close circles, etc. And then the regulatory sort of boot crushed all of it. How do we know that's not going to happen again? Yes, the Supreme Court has overturned this particular order of the RBI, but there could be legislation which can come in to curb cryptocurrency. We know that largely the Indian system is not very hot on cryptocurrencies continuing.
Yeah, so if you see the bull run in 2017, I would accredit most of it because of the FOMO, because the number of factors that was supposed to be there to give that kind of bull run was actually not there, right? So it's just more money getting in and the price getting pumped up. But if I have to compare that with the increase in the price that we are seeing right now, it's definitely we have more reasons at least behind that. So like Sumit was saying, there are so many institutional investors who are investing, and like how we have SEBI here, there is SEC in US, and there are so many public companies who have approached SEC to get a permission so that they can have a part of their balance sheet in crypto assets. And whoever are getting the permissions, they are kind of buying the crypto assets like Bitcoin and locking it away, which means that is not coming back to the market like if it is like a retail investor. So when more and more these kinds of say institutional investors are getting in, obviously there is a shortage for the availability of Bitcoins and the price is increasing. But the more interesting thing to see here is, these institutional investors, who a lot of them have released something called a white paper, so which essentially talk about why they think Bitcoin is the best investment and why they want Bitcoin as one of the line items as like in the balance sheet of their company. And they are saying no for gold, they are saying no for mutual funds, they are saying no for land, real estate, or even say commodities, etc. So there definitely is a more reason. Probably we may not know all of it, but we are just seeing it to be going it. But when it comes to India, definitely it's a very tricky market to be specific. We as a country who have 17% of the world's population definitely don't have our share of the total number of crypto investors or the total amount of volume that we were supposed to have, and a lot of it has to be accredited to the regulatory unclarity that continues to be here.
Let's be honest. We're still trying to get enough people into. Yeah, I know. So Sathvik, of course, you and Sumit are coming from the point of view where you are already, great promoters of cryptocurrency. But let's be honest, we're still trying to get more equity investors on board, and a lot of them have come on board during the pandemic. A lot of liquidity sloshing around globally has also helped fuel cryptocurrency. Sumit, do you see this actually persisting and some kind of legitimacy permanent legitimacy coming in for cryptocurrencies, or is that fear there at the back of the mind that there could be legislation tomorrow which shuts it all down?
To be honest, I think there is still some sort of fear in the back of people's mind. But now, with the recent Supreme Court judgment and how governments outside India giving this asset class legitimacy, you can see governments like Singapore, they are coming up with a license for crypto exchanges. US, Australia, a lot of these governments, developed economies are now giving importance to this asset class, including a lot of institutional funds who are also taking positions into bitcoins, right? And to take the example of India, we have recently conducted a Mood of the Nation survey. And what's very interesting to see is that nearly 70%, so there were around 11,000 respondents to that survey. Nearly 70% of those people who filled the survey, mainly millennials, they felt that Bitcoin is a good asset class to invest in, right? These are the people who sort of take exposure into equity, don't typically deal or invest in golds or real estate. These are the people who are also very keen on taking exposure into crypto as part of their portfolio. And it's quite fascinating to see that these are the people who are in this millennial generation, they see Bitcoin as a digital version of gold. And that's a very interesting analogy to see, because they see Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation when the markets are very volatile, turbulent. Equity markets have also gone up. The economy is sort of recovering, right, because of the pandemic. And these people who are very much tech savvy, people who understand the technology, they inclining towards a new asset class like Bitcoin is a very, very, very promising sign.
Well, promising or not, let's see. Caveat over here, both our speakers are proponents of cryptocurrency. So if you are planning to invest and take the plunge, please speak to your personal finance advisor. But it's interesting to know where the buzz is and why this specific asset class has suddenly gone up in such a dramatic fashion.